I
There we go.
consent.
So anyway, for anyone listening to this on the video, we're talking about the Jay Giles song, "My Angel is a Centerfold," which was popular back. Jay Giles hit it really big in the early 80s, right? And I'll never forget, that guy telling me, a friend of mine, was like, "No, you don't understand. You have to put these on your ears." And I'm like, I was used to, my uncle would take me to, the LSU games and that kind of thing. And he would have like the little transistor where you put the one little earbud in because he's listening to the game. He wants to hear that person do play-by-play while he's watching the game. That used to be a thing.
There'll be guys sitting in the back of church who'll be listening to the game in church, but also at church because their wives told them they had to go to church.
With the little earbud. It was like one of those
I guess that was NFL because it was Sunday, but still.
Yeah. And it went down to a little white, there was always like a cream white wire that went, and they were running underneath their suit coat. That was back when people wore coats to church and what have you. But that was a thing. That was absolutely a thing. And this guy goes, no, you got to put this headset on. It was like these little tiny, and it covered your whole ear. It was like they had the little muff, like the same stuff we have on our mics here. And you put it on your ears, and he goes, all right, sit back. And he goes, listen to this. And he turned it on, and my life was forever changed.
Was it just a radio receiver at this point, or did we have cassette tapes at this point?
No, it was a cassette.
Okay.
It was the Sony Walkman. I think Sony started making those in the mid to late 80s to be.
I was going to say, I got my first one in 85, I believe, because I listened to Beastie Boys and Run DMC on it in 7th grade.
No, what I meant to say was in the late 70s, they made it as a recording device. It was called the Walkman recording device. And then they just figured out the stereo system. And by 82, part of the Walkman 2 thing, they added the Dolby noise reduction. And as soon as he put these things in my ears, I went, okay, how much does this thing cost?
Yeah, you got to have it.
It's like it's $100. And I'm like, okay, I do not have $100.
Okay. Where do I find $100?
Where do I have to blow?
Back then, $100 is a lot of money. I'm gonna do Google the conversion so that the kids these days can understand if they said $100, how we would feel about that.
Look up what a Sony Walkman cost in 1982. I want to say it was 100. It might have been 120. It doesn't matter what it was. I was in college. I couldn't get it. It did not fit into my budget. I was a broke ass college student. And I was on scholarship to play football. There was no extra money hanging around at all. And man, I remember I went, this just changed my world. You don't need a stereo, and you could take this anywhere. And I remember getting my first one maybe a year later, getting my first Sony, because, I love music. And I had all the cassettes anyway, because that's what we listened to in the car, right? You have it?
It says in 85, a Walkman cost between $69 to $99, which translates to between $170 to $250 today.
Okay, that was 85.
So if you got the $99 one, that's like $250. And when you're a kid, you don't have $250.
Right. And that was
if you have like $7.
Lord by then, because they probably had competition.
That's true.
But man, I'll never forget that. And when I started riding bikes longer and longer, I would just, I would have that. At some point, they came out with one. It was yellow, and it was the sports Walkman, and it was yellow. Oh. Yeah, and it came with an armband, so you can hang this big thing on your arm. So you can run with it, or you can ride your bike or whatever. And that was like in the early mid 90s. I got the sports Walkman, and it had a little seal ring in it. So if it got wet, you couldn't submerge it in water, but if it got splashed on, it wouldn't mess it up. And loved that thing. And the beginning of all my cycling and everything was with the Walkman. It's almost, do they even make them anymore? Is it forgotten? Is it still out there?
No, why would you need it? You have it on your phone now.
Yeah, everything. I mean, that was like
Did you have a Zune?
I did not have a Zune. I did have.
You had a little iPod. I had an iPod Shuffle that looked like a stick of gum.
I had a guy that came around. I was already deep into the mountain bike 24-hour thing. And the one thing, Walkman started making a little radio. that you could tune in your local radio stations, and it was tiny. And I would use that in the mountains, the Santa Monica Mountains. And there were certain areas I couldn't go in because it would lose, like if I dropped down into Malibu, it will lose reception.
Right.
And I knew that. It's like, okay, for the next hour and a half, dropping down this hill and coming back up, I'll just turn it off. I'm going to just save the battery because I'm not going to get anything but static. And I remember loving that thing, right? Then at some point, I knew this guy who was a guitar player in LA, and he showed me an MP3 player. And he was like, dude, broski, you got to get one of these. You can load your music. And I didn't even get what he was talking about. It was compact. It was kind of,
yeah.
Think of the size of maybe 2 Zippo lighters thick and 2 Zippo lighters big.
Right.
Wide. And I'm like, so what does it do? He goes, everything is digitally. It's in here. You can load in 100 songs, 200 songs. You can load
this
them
thing
in.
holds 10 CDs or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, you can. Yeah. And I went, where do you put the batteries? He goes, you charge it. You charge it. And I went, okay, how long does it play for? And he goes, like an hour and a half. And I went, okay, I'm on a bike every Saturday for 15 hours. What am I going to do for the other 13 and a half hours?
You're not.
Yeah. So I didn't get one of those. And then Sony came out with the first, not Sony, iTunes, iPhone came out with the first iPod. Yeah. And that thing was pretty big. Again, maybe it was like 2 Zippo lighters, tall and about as thick as a Zippo, maybe a little thicker. And I remember going, how long is the battery life? And it was like 3 hours. I went, okay, now we're getting somewhere, because you could buy like a little pigtail battery to hook to it to double the life to 6 hours. And the beauty of that is I can listen to my own music.
Right.
The other beauty is I had enough money to afford it, because it was mid 90s and I was making.
You're now working. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that, and I bought an extra battery pack, and it worked like a charm. And by the way, you can load like 1,000 songs or so. Do you remember how many? It was like a lot of music.
I had an iPod shuffle that I got for free from doing some TV job, and I loaded a ton of songs on there and used it until it bricked. And that was when I first discovered that Apple bricks all their products after a certain amount of time. Well,
this thing I used every weekend.
Did it ever brick? I thought the first generation iPods eventually bricked.
I was told that there was a date on it, but what happened was, before that date came, I ended up getting 2 batteries, and that still wasn't taking me through the whole day. So I would listen to my music for the better part of 9 hours. And if I was doing like a 15 or 18-hour day, I would then go back to my Sony on my arm. And this is, by the way, I would do all the stuff in Malibu while I still had the MP3 player on. We were still calling them that back then, because I knew I could listen to music later in the day, a lot of great old rock and everything, when it's turning dark on a Saturday evening. They would be like, hey, listen to the whole first side of Dark Side of the Moon or something, and it was like always something like that, right, where you could get into it. So I did that a lot. But I would use I would have all of that in my backpack on the mountain, because that's what kept me motivated and kept me going, folks. It's not about how lean and mean you can be. It's like, what's going to keep you doing what you want? People always say to me, what's the best exercise? And I always say, it's the one you will do. And they go, oh yeah, okay. What's the best exercise? It's the one you will do. I'm willing to ride a bike as long as I can listen to music. I love music more than I love blowjobs. And I do not take my blowjobs lightly. I do not, but I love music even more. And shut up, Anna. It's not even funny. So
I didn't say anything.
So anyway, I did that. And then they came out with the first shuffle, and that had more battery life and more songs. And then they came out, and then it got to where I got 2 shuffles. I would take mine and the one I gave.
Just rotate them.
Yeah, the one I gave to Serena and the whole thing. And I would bring them both with me because she wouldn't need it that day. and I would just use both of them until they ran out. I did a whole bunch of things until we figured out you can do it all. And now we just take our cell phones out, which is the shuffle and a phone and a camera and a flashlight and the pocket knife and everything else.
And it can be a heart rate monitor if you're in a pinch.
Yeah. And you could check your A1Cs, and you could check your ketone levels. No, you can't, folks. That part's a lie.
Oh, I was gonna say you can. I don't know that one.
I want to talk about ketones a little bit today, Anna.
Great.
Yeah, I really do. I want to get into ketones, and I want to talk about what happened this weekend. By the way, we're recording this show way ahead of time because when this show comes out, I will be in Badwater, California, because the Badwater 135 is going on. And by the way, it started this morning, so you can follow. Go to badwater.com or adventurecore.com. That's Chris Costman's company if you heard the Friday show. And just go there and pay attention. You'll see who's winning, where people are. It's kind of fun to watch. It's like watching a Tour de France. So you could go over and do that. Before I get into what I ate and my ketones and everything else, and we'll talk about that.
Plus, we have the Diet Watcher's Guide.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
The diet book I picked up from the antique store.
We will get into all of it, Anna. But before we do any of it, Belcampo.
Yeah.
Belcampo. Belcampo.com. Belcampo.com. I buy what can only be described as a metric shit ton of meat from these people. And now, right now, we have a discount, 15% off. Not just the first time, you keep going back, it keeps being 15% off as long as you put in promo code Vinnie, Vinnie, promo code Vinnie, 15% off at Belcampo. Anna, you were making a chicken last week on a Monday.
Yeah, that's right.
They got the chicken there. You could get the good chicken. You
could get a whole chicken and different cuts of chicken.
Oh yeah, you get.
I'm going to go under the poultry section.
You're checking it out right now?
Those thighs look really good.
Why, thank you. Oh, you mean a chicken?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want
the whole chicken. Get the whole chicken.
Want to see my breast?
They have a chicken box. Get the chicken box that has the wings.
She said box.
Drumsticks? What? You can make Tori's fried chicken legs, which is an NSNG version of fried chicken.
I just did drumsticks, Anna. Come on.
Oh, there it is. I heard it.
There you go. You're talking over my really bad joke. Belcampo, you want to save every single time? Put in promo code Vinnie, Vinnie, for 15% off. Every single time is not a first-time offer. It's every single time. If after the 15% discount, you're still over $99, what do you get? Oh, just nothing. Free shipping.
Dude.
Go do it.
Get this steak sampler and then add on a chicken thing and then add on the keto meatballs and then add on the beef jerky and then maybe a broth. And then, I don't know, I would just buy everything. I would stock up, y'all. Then do your discount code Vinnie. Then you make sure you get the free shipping. If you get all those things I said, you will for sure get all those things.
Last week, I did an order of over $200.
Yeah.
That's just on the discount because I put the discount code in just like everyone else. I saved like $38. I mean, think about that. And I got the free shipping. I just filled up my deep freeze with meat. I don't have to worry. Oh, what are we eating tonight? Oh, we got to go buy some. It's already there. Just thaw and go. Belcampo.com. Promo code Vinnie, Vinnie, no MBY. You get yourself 15% off every single time. So Anna, last week I was at a party.
Vinnie, that's not like you.
No, it's not. But if I want to stay in a relationship every now and then,
you got to go.
I got to go.
Yeah.
And it was at Serena's friend's Rose's house. And so it was a 4th of July party. And I don't know how to, Anna, you've seen me at your house for parties and everything. I don't know how to be human. I try. I know it's not funny. I'm not making a joke. You know that. I don't do well.
Listen, I'm the same way, but usually I would like find somebody like you and just corner them and talk to them the whole time and then realize like, oh, I didn't really talk to anybody at the party except for that one person. And
That's
they probably felt trapped. That's what I do.
I corner someone and just
Yeah.
look away from the party and pretend it's not going on. I just
Mm.
ostrich myself. And
Mhm.
I see a guy there, Frank. And I know Frank because Frank has been over to our house. And Frank's a cool guy. And I see Frank walking in my direction. And this makes me happy because I like Frank.
Yeah.
And you can have a good conversation. Frank's husband just died.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently they were together for
Jeez.
like 40 years and they've been married for as long as they've let gays get married or whatever.
Right. Right.
And he just lost his partner. So Frank is coming over and I see him walking towards me. I'm like, good. I like Frank.
Yeah. Talk to Frank.
I could talk to Frank. I
Yeah.
could corner this guy all night.
Yeah.
We could just have a conversation, right? But Frank has got a woman in tow.
What?
Call that woman Brooke. Because, well, that was her name. Yeah, well, Frank is walking out with a friend.
Okay.
He's walking over, he's bringing Brooke over, and I guess Brooke is kind of tagging along with him. And he goes, Vinny, this is Brooke, Vinny, this whole thing. Actually, you know who Frank sounds like?
Who?
The guy that used to do the opening for our show, Skeeter.
Oh, Skeeter. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to get that Southern accent, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Frank comes over and he introduces Brooke, and I'm talking to Brooke, and now I'm dealing with a new person. And this is where I run into trouble.
Oh God. What did you do?
Well, I was cordial and I figured out how to be human for 5 minutes. And I said, Brooke, where are you from? Brooke seemed to be about my age, that kind of thing. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? She, oh, I'm originally from Kansas. So I said, oh, Kansas City is what she says. I said, Missouri side or Kansas side? She goes, oh, you know Kansas.
Oh, you know about states and cities.
You actually know that, you know one. You see, I know just enough stuff to get me in trouble.
Right.
And she goes, yeah, I lived on the Kansas side and the whole thing. I said, oh, yeah, Kansas City, man, the burnt ends. I love me some burnt
I was just going to say, did you ask her if she ate burnt ends? Because that would be my next place too. Oh, burnt ends.
She goes, wow, you really know Kansas. Now, what Brooke doesn't know is I've just given all of my Kansas information.
How about them Chiefs?
Yeah, how about the Chiefs? How about your quarterback there, one of the best? I don't know what I'm out. I'm out on Kansas.
You know what? Here's a fun fact. I am the voice of KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Kansas City. It's a radio station. I'm the voice of sports radio in Kansas City.
That's all you know, right?
That's all I know. I mean, I do watch football, but when they talk about Royals baseball, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know. They have to give me pronunciations of names constantly.
And by the way, Anna and I had burnt ends together.
Oh, yes, we sure did. And I had some with Lonnie too. I had many courses of burnt ends in a 36-hour.
I think I was looking at Kurt Lapeard one time when I had burnt ends.
Yeah, well, I had hot dogs with Kurt Lapeard.
Yes, you did. Yeah. Anyway,
really not as dirty as it sounds. Just
I think it was
naked hot dogs, no bun.
If I'm not mistaken, it was on the street corner, right?
It was on the street. I was on the, okay. So this sounds bad on paper, right?
I was on that street corner too.
I was on the street corner with Kurt Lapeard. Already you're in trouble at about midnight.
Or later.
Choking down naked dogs.
That's how Anna got where
after a long night of drinking.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's something's bad happening, but actually we were nourishing our bodies in the best way we knew how without having a hangover and also keeping it NSNG. So
that was a rough ass night. One guy that showed up got so drunk.
Kansas City was an adventure for us. We actually do know about Kansas City because we had that wonderful meetup, which was so much fun. But that one guy got so wasted. We're like, he's your problem.
Well, that's why they took me out of there. They were like, look, you don't want to be anywhere around this situation. You need to get out of here. And I got out.
Like, go deal with Anna. She's really drunk on the street corner with Kurt Lapeard eating hot dogs.
Yeah, that ain't looking right. So I went across the street and this guy was like, you guys want another 6 hot dogs? No buns.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, people were just eating hot dogs.
Because we were like, I want a hot dog. How many are you getting? 1? No, I want 2. Oh, yeah, I want 2. But really, I could eat 3. You know what? Just get 4. Get 4 each. Get 4 hot dogs.
It was sad. It was sad.
It was
I
delicious. I
wasn't
love
really
hot dogs.
drunk. I'd been nursing drinks all that night. So
Here's the thing, Vinny. I will say this with full authority, and we'll get back to your Brooke story.
yeah.
I will eat hot dogs. Oh, I had 2 hot dogs today for lunch. Beeler's hot dogs, which are amazing, high quality hot dog. I love hot dogs.
How do you spell that?
Beeler's, Beelers. They're a company out of Iowa. They make really nice hot dogs and
I'll check it out.
sausages. I love a hot dog. I love the most pedestrian of foods.
So anyway,
Literally.
Brooke.
All right, Brooke, you and Brooke, burnt ends. It's going well. So this sounds like a dynamite conversation.
I'm at this party. We're talking about burnt ends. And I'm telling Brooks how much I love these burnt ends. But now I'm out of conversation.
Yeah.
So luckily, Frank, being gay, they know how to keep the game going. They know how to keep the balls in the air. They keep the plate spinning.
They teach that.
They teach.
Somehow they learned the art of conversation because really, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Either that or they just were never heard as children, so that they're great at talking.
Oh, he is a megaphone, and I love me some Frank. And Frank picked up the conversation and kept it going. He took it right away from burnt ends. I think we went into culling the deer population or something. We went into something deep.
Great.
And this woman was good. Oh, we talked about beagles too, hunting dog.
Oh,
She's a beagler. They do that, a lot of that here. And so I had a little, because I grew up hunting rabbits, I knew a little bit about beagles and so on. So anyway, we got along, as they would say, famously. Well, Serena and I were invited to Frank's last night for a dinner party. And I said, now I'm nervous again. I said, Serena, I thought we were just going to Frank's for drinks, like a drink. She's
it's
like,
gonna be seated.
she goes, no, I think it might be drinks. It might be a dinner party. I'm not sure. And now I'm nervous because I said, Serena, as you know, I usually keep my carbohydrates because of the vegetables I eat. I'm getting into a story here, but I told you that first story to tell you this story. I said, Serena, as you know, I've been pricking my finger every day. I've been keeping my ketones high because I'm going, well, as you hear this, I've already done it. Hopefully I'm climbing. I'll say where I'm going. I'm climbing Mount Whitney again. I didn't get.
I told you I knew.
You're so smart and everything.
I figured it out.
So me and the billionaire Don Coddington, we're going up Mount Whitney, and neither one of us are trained for it. I have a high aerobic rate because I've been on the bike. I've been on the rowing machine. I go out and jog a little bit, but I haven't put the miles in on the mountain. And I usually eat between 40 and 50 carbs a day. And I easily stay in ketosis doing that. Don't ask me, I guess with all the aerobic work and everything I do, and I also pump iron. I know you can't really tell, but I do. I can eat even a little over 50 carbs. I never come out of ketosis. But I want to be deep in ketosis because I'm living on that mountain on my own fat.
Give me a millimolar range you're trying to go for.
Well, when I wake up in the morning, instead of being at 0.7, 0.8, I've been waking up at 1.4, 1.6. After 2 hours on the bike the other day, I measured 3.7. That kind of thing.
You're going for you ideally want to be between 3 and 5 when you're active. I
want to keep it high because it'll keep me sharp. It'll keep me, it's kind of like people who take like the ketone esters. You don't need that. That's bringing sand to the beach. You can actually do this. And I've lowered my carbohydrates for the past couple of weeks all the way down to like 10 carbs a day. If the only sugar I'm getting from the red meat I'm eating. And you go, wait, that doesn't have sugar. Actually, that's the most protein I eat. Some of that is being changed into, through gluconeogenesis, it's becoming.
So you're basically prepping for this doing carnivore, or are you having vegetables at all?
I'm having eggs, butter, red meat, fish, and fish oil, and Villa Cappelli olive oil. That's been my
olive or avocado.
Oh yeah, olive. Whenever I make like my Mexican dish, I'll hit it with a dollop of creme fraiche.
Okay.
Really high fat creme fraiche, and I'll cut up an avocado with that. A couple of times when I've made my egg scramble, I've mixed in avocado with that. But
you're not doing any leafy greens, cruciferous.
No. Okay. No, just clean. And I've been NSNG AF and as they say
Yes.
in the group. And I've been keeping my ketone level very high. So now we're going to Frank's and I break out into a cold sweat. I keep a case of wine at my house. So that when we go somewhere, I don't have to scramble to go buy wine. It's a good one.
Absolutely.
I just reach into that case. Whenever I get down to 3, it takes me a long time, but when I get down to 3, I order another case.
Right.
It's just the thing to do. It's the thing I tell people to do with
We do
my
too.
book and your book and everything.
Yep.
You know, every year at Christmas, I buy a stack of Anna's books. I know people think I'm making that up. And because I forget how many people I have to give gifts to, and I'll go, ooh. But you see, I have a problem now because Anna hasn't written a new book.
I just talked to Steve Himes today. He's trying to talk me into this third book.
Steve Himes has talked me into a book, and that's coming out soon. I'm not talking about it yet, but
I will say this. A woman came to the Pasadena Eat Happy Kitchen demo at Grassroots, and she, which is a little grocery store there, and she said she buys the stuff by the case and she brings a jar of sauce as a hostess gift because it's a little different than wine. I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
Anna, that's what I'm going to do this year for Christmas. Here's what I'm going to do. This year, I'm going to get a lot of your sauces, all 3 of them, and just put them in a little 3-pack and give that as a gift. So if I forget someone, they come over to the house, it's like, oh, I'm glad you showed up. I had this ready.
Get a bunch of 2-packs because they come in those already branded 2-packs because, you know, with the pretty.
That just a 2-pack is a nice gift, right? And I'll say, I know this looks like tomato.
Wait, we should do that with your coffee too, because people love coffee.
Yeah, but I hate giving out my products because it looks like I didn't think about it as a gift.
I know. I struggled with that because a friend of mine, her mom died, and she's been obviously having a hard time because her mom died. And I sent her some sauce because I was like, everybody's going to send flowers. Why don't I send some sauce? It's at least comfort food. You know what I mean? And then I was like, I wonder if it looks like I was trying to promote. And then I felt bad. And then I was like,
weird, you know, because
I did feel weird. I hear that.
Mom called me when I was coming back from hiking today, and we're going to get back to the story about Brooke because there's an ending to that story.
I want to know what you ate.
My mom calls me today. She goes, Vinny, we're out of your vitamins. They take the multi, they take the magnesium. I said, I'll send you a bunch. No, don't send me a bunch of everything. We have everything. We're out of the multi. How would she say that, Anna?
Oh, no, Vinny. Don't send me everything now. Send me just the multi.
Yeah.
That was okay. I need to hear her. I haven't heard her. So
I haven't heard it in a while. So
it was okay. That was a B right there.
I said, Ma, I'll send you some multi. It's coming. I'll call them right now and tell them. And I hear in the background, my dad says, tell her we need coffee. And she says, sorry, the coffee is too expensive. And I'm sitting there going, how does she decide that the vitamins are not too expensive? So
probably because they're little.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can't be as expensive as coffee.
She probably went to the website and decided my coffee. So I'm sending her a bunch of coffee and a bunch of.
He charging too much for this coffee.
Look at this coffee. He should charge half.
That's too expensive.
You can't have that.
You can't have that.
My poor daddy, he's getting coffee. I'm going to send him, you know, I'm going to send him this double French that's right here on the counter.
My favorite.
Yeah,
I switched my subscription back the other day because in 2 days I'm gonna get that email from Pure Coffee Club and it's gonna say double French is on its way. Because before it was the Swiss Mountain decaf for my father-in-law, but he's gone.
Yeah,
I'm getting my caffeine back.
Yeah, I'm gonna send my dad a half a case of those. So they don't
awesome.
go bad before he finishes. So
anyway, you're going to the dinner party. You were nervous,
and I'm nervous, and I'm getting ready to grab my bottle of wine to bring to Frank's. And I see Serena's got some flowers. I said, what are you doing with those things? And she goes, I'm bringing these as a gift for Frank. And I went, good idea. Good idea. I'll put the wine back. And I came down to my bar and I grabbed a brand new bottle of scotch. It's still in the box. It's a 14-year Glenlivet, the whole thing. I went, okay, I'm bringing this. Why was I bringing that? Because if Frank offers me wine, I don't know if Frank, I don't know what his guy are. I don't know. Gay people know how to entertain. They usually have everything. Turns out Frank had everything.
Right.
And by the way, these are not derogatory gay things. These are facts.
So, but what if you were like, oh no, can we open that scotch I brought? And is that rude to say, demand to open the thing that you brought?
Well, when I brought it,
That's what I don't know.
I presented it at the door. I said, Frank, I know it's weird that you're not seeing a bottle of wine here, but I brought this just in case you're not a Scotch guy. I need a Scotch tonight. And he goes,
Oh, that's good. So you did a preemptive speech about it.
yeah, I walked in and said, here's a gift, but there's a story behind this gift. And he goes, I keep the cheap stuff over there and I keep the expensive stuff over there.
Great.
And I headed over there where the expensive stuff was.
Yeah.
And boy, did he have a selection. And so I'm going to stay in Ketone. Now, I still don't know if we're doing dinner or not.
Right.
But then we're standing in the kitchen after I poured my scotch and we're, oh my God, your house is beautiful. And the beep, beep, ba, ba.
Right.
And I look and I see, you know, those big, giant, meaty looking tomatoes that the Amish grow, the big Amish tomatoes.
Yeah. Big beefsteaks.
Yeah. Frank's got 4 of them cut about 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
With a nice piece of capre, like what do you call it?
Fresh mozzarella or burrata.
Burrata on top. I went,
Mhm.
okay. I'm
Okay.
counting 4, and I'm counting 3 people in this room, and Frank's husband died. What the? Who's coming? What's doing? And then I went, wait a minute. I don't smell any food cooking. Now I'm concerned. Is this just a snack to go with our drink? Are we doing like, is this like his version of charcuterie? I don't know what's doing.
Listen, you cannot have people drink alcohol in your house and not give them any food.
Right. And there was also, I saw he had some almonds there, but it was the kind that's flavored up. You know, you could tell.
Marcona, like the oily kind, or like
no, like
seasoned.
You know, like if you got like seasoned, like you could tell that it's like
Blue Diamond seasoned or
flavor
whatever.
or yeah. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, all right, I can't have that. I'm gonna have to make do with that tomato, and I got to eat it because Frank put it out. I got to have it, right?
Yeah.
I cut this thing. Yeah. All of a sudden, someone walks through the door. Doorbell doesn't ring or anything. It's Brooke from the party.
That's good.
He goes, hey guys. Hey. So now I know who's getting the 4th tomato. Right?
Okay, good. Problem solved.
And I'm like Columbo.
You really got to the bottom of this one.
Oh yeah. I just figured it out.
That's deductive reasoning.
Yeah, now 4 people here. Each person can have a low caprese here, a little something. Right. And I'm like, okay, I could get out of here alive. When I got here, my ketosis, I was at 2.4. If I can leave here at 1, meaning 1 on a millimolar when I get home, I'm good. I'm good. Brooke was holding her hands like this.
Uh-oh.
She had a big giant glass like casserole dish.
Uh-oh.
Tinfoil on the top. And she says, Vinny, this is especially for you. I have this flown in from Kansas City.
From Gates?
One of the 2 famous places. I can't remember what she said.
Oh,
but
my.
This was flown in this morning for you. I said, oh, what do we have here? She goes, burnt ends, your favorite, from Kansas City.
Now, did they have the sauce on them or were they unsauced so you could just eat them plain?
Well, I see a big thing of sauce on the top.
Right.
And so
you trying to get the edges.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to work this. So she goes, I even brought some extra sauce. We got the extra sauce flown in. And I went, okay.
Well, Brooke doesn't know you.
I got to do it.
That's okay. She's trying to impress you.
Like, you know how I always say, sometimes you just I can't go, listen, Brooke, I'm climbing a mountain. Yeah, I can't do any of that shit. Of
course. You'll be an asshole. You can't do it.
And such a sweet woman, right?
Of course.
And I'm like sitting there going, what do I'm looking at Serena. I'm breaking out into a cold sweat. Not really. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going, okay, I'm going to nurse my way around this. Well, we all sit outside. We have the salad. It's great. The big tomato chunk with the thing. And here comes a big plate of burnt ends with some kind of little salad that Frank put together, like a bean salad.
Yeah, you can just skip that.
Yeah, I can just, but I put a little on my plate. I have to make it look like
Right.
something.
But you ate the one good salad.
Yeah. So I got the bean salad. I got a big pile, and everybody else except me and Serena was putting extra sauce, meaning Frank and Brooke.
Right.
Serena and I was like, no, this is good. Oh my God, it's good like this. And it was delicious.
That's amazing that she had it flown in. It's incredible that we can do these things now.
And I'm going, this is my dinner. I'm doing 2 laps of Jarman Gap tomorrow, meaning I'm going to be walking for at least 5.5 hours in the morning.
Right.
And I'm going, man, I wanted to go up there. I wanted to be so deep into ketosis. This is my last move before I get on the plane and go out to Southern California. Right. So I'm sitting there going, I got to do this. This is what I always tell people. You can't be a douchebag.
Right.
You got it. Sometimes life gets in the way.
Right.
So I ate me some burnt ends on it. And I'm going to be honest with you, delicious.
I'm sure.
Oh my God. Covered in sugar and whole thing. I get home and I pull out my little Precision 2, Precision Extra, whatever it's called, ketone monitor. I prick a finger and I'm at 0.4. So
Okay.
I'm not out of ketosis. I'm still.
You're right on the borderline.
I'm hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, this will probably burn out. But I woke up this morning, I was at 0.7.
Okay, so when you say burnout, you mean your body's just metabolizing that food and that glucose just for you. So you didn't try to like go on an extra walk or anything to try to burn it off that night?
No, and you know what? I was probably a little low on carbohydrates from the workout I did right before I went there. That's why a barbecue meal did not knock me out completely. Sure. But I didn't want to wake up at 0.1 or 0 or anything like that. I woke up at 0.7. And by the time I came back from my 5.5 hour hike, I measured again. I was at 2.3. So I'm right back in.
Yeah.
But it was that thing where, I set it up to where I'm getting to California. I'm going to stay in a high rate of ketosis. I'm not having even the vegetables that I like to eat, the cruciferous vegetables, all that kind of stuff. I'm not having any of it because I'm untrained and I have to do everything I can to be able to do this walk to the best ability I can. And then Brooke shows up with flown in from Kansas.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah,
do the best you can. Don't have the sauce and But listen, and we're going to start to be more social. Like we're going to start to go out more. So you're going to have to figure out. It's just like with parenting. You're going to have to choose your battles. You know what I mean? What's the thing then that you say, hey, I'm going to pass on that. And then the thing that you say, okay, yeah, I'll enjoy this and get right back on the path, and don't use it as an excuse to self-sabotage or anything like that. And I think it's a good proof of your metabolic flexibility.
Yeah. And look, the last time
you could waffle. I mean, it's not like you're messing with it all the time. And I know you're not advocaking that, but you did, and you're fine.
I did what I had to do, and I got through.
Some people, it might take 7 days to get back in. But you took
the
next morning.
Ketosis for so long that I never actually came out, and I was kind of feathering my way around those burnt ends. I found the ones that weren't overly covered.
Sure. That's what I did too. That's what I did on 4th of July, because it was a barbecue party, and they had made this beautiful porchetta. You know the porchetta, which is basically just the rolled up pork belly with the herbs and stuff. So that one was pretty good. And then they had these ribs, fall off the bone ribs. And I just made sure I literally grabbed it from them as they were trying to wipe the sauce on it at the end. And I was like, no, I'm going to grip mine. Thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much. Like, just like did like a big like distraction. Yeah. And you get used to it. And this is not to say we're not advocating to speak up when you need to speak up. But there's also times where you don't want to be a douchebag either. When
this woman walks in with a shit-eating grin on her face, say, look what I did for you, guy that I barely know.
I know. You got to do it.
And look, we are being so. I'm not a social animal. Serena is, and the last people we had dinner with before I'm going to name drop here, Anna. So get ready. I'm going to drop something. You're going to have to pick it up for me. The last people we had dinner with before the pandemic was the Grishams, John Grisham and his wife, and
That's awesome.
our friend Rose at Rose's house. And then the pandemic hit, and now we're out of that. And Serena is very social, and everyone loves her. You know, she's just very personable, and I get dragged out. That's the way it happens. So
we have friends. Lauren's golf friends are coming, and the wife and the kids and the whole thing. And I don't know them that well, and they insist on bringing tacos. They're like, we have to bring you these tacos. These tacos are amazing, and I'll be like, great, and I will pick out the center of the tacos. And the thing is that most people know, or Lauren will tell them, oh, she's gluten-free. So, cause people do ask in California, are there any dietary restrictions? And Lauren will say, oh, she's gluten-free, but he's not going to be like, she's also dairy-free. And also she won't eat the carbs that you bring. And also like, he's not going to say all that and be a dick. And I'll just make a plate and pick around it. And it's what you do. But I will say, I remember there was a birthday maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, where Sarah Baker literally surprised me with a gluten-free, some kind of cake. It was insane.
Now Anna's dropping something. Jesus Christ.
But I mean, that was a nice surprise. And I'm not going to be like, thanks, best friend.
Wow.
Garbage. Like, I'm not going to be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Sarah loves to eat. She does.
She does. She's an amazing baker, and literally her last name is Baker, but she makes me stuff, and I'm not going to always pass on that. I'm going to enjoy it.
Like a comfort food type of person.
Yeah.
Like she can make a casserole or
I think she just bakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she's really sticking to her name.
Yeah, she is.
So does that mean Minnie Driver just drives?
She just drives.
Like all of your friends have a name that you could.
That's a profession.
Yeah.
And my voice, my name means little voice, so that's also my profession.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But you have a big voice.
I do.
It's like when you have a flat friend, you call them Slim, like that, little voice.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to start the Diet Watcher's Guide?
Let me see what I have here.
Or do we want to talk about Bill Alexander's little
we can see Bill Alexander's evergreen. And I don't want to get.
I feel like we've been talking a lot about plateaus. So go back and listen to old episodes or jump on the clubhouses with us. In 2 weeks, Vinny will be back on. I'm not sure what date it is. I think it'll be July 21st. Will be the next.
Yeah, whenever.
We'll figure it out. I don't know when you're back, but you and I will talk.
Yeah, whenever I'm back. I like doing the clubhouse with Anna because we get to talk to people.
We get to talk to people. We get to hear people's voices. We get to explore. You get to ask questions. So right now, podcasting is awesome, but it's just us talking at you. Clubhouse is fun because you get to talk back.
Everybody's talking at me.
So I picked up this book, and here's what's funny. After reading through this book, it's amazing in so many ways because it seems really outdated in a lot of reasons, and it is. And the diet's just so crazy. It's called The Diet Watcher's Guide by Anne Gold and Sarah Wells Briller. There they are on the back. Look at these old biddies.
Jeez, what year is it from?
I think it's 68 or 64. But then you read some of it and you're like, yeah, you couldn't write that stuff today. They are 1968. Right. And it's just real. I don't know if anybody remembers this book. Now, this was written and published 5 years before I was born. So I don't recall this one. Like, I think the first diets, my mom never did diets. My mom was always very slim. She didn't need to lose any weight. And it wasn't an issue. We didn't talk about it. I was always very slim. My diet issues came up because I became a dancer. And so when you're a dancer, you're supposed to
pole dancer.
Woo,
yeah.
Woo. I was a ballerina. And so when you're a ballerina, you're supposed to be skinny, but then also become skinnier. So it's it's crazy.
It's not good for little girls.
I remember like the Deal Meal with Richard Simmons. I remember the cabbage soup diet, but my mom and grandma didn't do them because we were always very thin. However, cut to many years later in 2002, when my mom was diagnosed with celiac and subsequently so was I.
Yeah.
And turns out she was 58 and I was 28. Turns out neither of us had digested a nutrient in our entire lives. So once our guts started healing, we both put on some weight, and luckily I met Vinny. And but so diet, like there was a little talk of like watch what you eat at home, but I didn't have that. The overbearing, I had an overbearing mother for other reasons. It wasn't because of diet culture, because she didn't have to watch her weight and I didn't have to watch my weight either.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it was because it was a disease. But so when I see books like this, I'm like, this is crazy. Right. So, because I know a lot of my friends grew up with their moms and Weight Watchers, and their mom, like you talk about your mom, she was always on a diet with her girlfriends and they were doing the cabbage soup, right?
Every summer, she and Grace Ann.
Grace Ann, that's right.
Yeah.
She and Grace Ann would be doing something. So I wonder if Marie knows the Diet Watcher's Guide, because this thing I found at a.
Find out.
That's true. We could call her. So the introduction is titled. Now, what have I've always said since we started this podcast? If I wrote a diet book called How to Hate Yourself Thin, which is basically the idea being the diet industry wants you to continue to hate on yourself so that you can continue buying their next fad thing that won't work, and you'll gain even more weight and you'll hate yourself more. Than it's a self-perpetuating mechanism.
Right.
If I wrote a book and I called it Hate Yourself Thin, people would buy it because they're like, I hate myself and I want to be thin. I'll buy it. I'll be a billionaire. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I pick up this book as a joke. Lauren points it out to me. And the introduction is titled, You Have to Hate Yourself Enough.
Whoa. Where's that written? Like page 1?
You have
literally,
literally, that's the title of the introduction.
You have to hate yourself enough.
A woman who joined one of our groups once told us, if I lose 20 pounds, I'll be lovely. She was 32 years old and might be lovely, but she weighed 273 pounds. We set her real goal together, 135 pounds for her height, and she began a Diet Watchers program to become slim. It took her 15 months, but when she was 138 pounds lighter, she was far more beautiful than she had ever dreamed she could be. She has held her new figure for almost 2 years, and she has learned to see herself as a truly slim person. I think she will remain slim and lovely for the rest of her life. She had only fooled herself, just like every other overweight person, about her ugly obesity. Fat people always tell themselves they are not as fat as they really are. You may be fooling yourself too, if you think you are, quote, a little overweight. Here are the ways you act in order to fool yourself. Number 1, you look at yourself in the mirror only from the neck up. All fat people depend on their faces. When you put on makeup if you are a woman, or go to the barber shop if you are a man, your face usually looks fairly good to you. You may even tell yourself that the little extra roundness makes your chin look stronger. You don't see your face imprisoned in the fat, trying to get out. You never really see your shapeless body. You don't want to. If by accident you catch full sight of yourself in a mirror, you look away quickly. You don't watch yourself move, and you don't see your fat waddle. 2, you wear dark colors. If a woman, you buy black and you tell yourself it's because black is basic, but you really buy dark colors because you think they make you look slimmer. 3, you look for a special asset to play up to yourself. You tell yourself you are pretty or smart, hardworking, and good-natured, and so anyone will just take me the way I am. Or I'm jolly and a good cook. All fat people depend on this idea of being special. 4, you don't take photographs of yourself. 5, you keep putting diet off. Today is Wednesday, you tell yourself. I'll start Monday. I'm skipping a few parts now.
Wait, Anna, do me a favor. Or you go on with 6?
No, that's it. There's no 6.
All right. What year was this book written?
1968. Isn't it amazing?
Wow. I don't know what to say. Look, as you know, my thing is, I don't believe in fat shaming.
No.
At all.
Absolutely not.
And people go, yeah, we got to let fat people know they're fat. I got a pretty good feeling.
Trust me, fat people know they're fat.
People know they're fat.
You know where your body. I've never met a woman who didn't know, by the way, an array, like a matrix of 65 numbers of where she was in high school, in college, the first time she got pregnant, when she was 9 months pregnant, the day after she gave birth, 6 months after she gave birth, where she had her second child. Like it's her wedding day, or this day. It's mental. Yeah. You don't need to tell somebody they're fat.
Yeah. There's no reason to ever fat shame it. And this book starts off on fat shaming.
Well, and the intro ends with, the camera does not add pounds. It merely catches you as you really are. You will hate what you see about yourself. They're suggesting people take pictures. That snapshot will convince you eventually to the point where you will hate what you see enough to really start on a fat losing program. This has been a reading from the introduction of the Diet Watcher's Guide.
I want you to bring a passage in every week.
Every week we're going to talk, because the next chapter is the part is directly addressed to men. So we're going to talk about that next week. But I love this book so much because there's a number of things happening here. First of all, she's basically trying to still do that thing, which is to prey on your shame.
Right.
To make you feel horrible enough to want to make the change. Now, everybody makes it to listening to us for one reason or another.
Right.
Maybe you felt ashamed and you were looking for answers in the middle of the night and Googled. Maybe you were just like, I'm tired of, never being able to get in the pool with my kids because I feel embarrassed in a swimsuit. Maybe, it's a million different reasons. But these bitches right here, they don't fucking mince words. They're in there fucking just like, well, she was fat and that was ugly. That's basically what it is. She was fat and that is ugly. And I'm like, holy shit.
You cannot be lovely if you're fat.
I know. And that's why. And so, by the way, when you see people because we were talking about the pendulum swinging both ways, heavy people are fucking pissed because that's the kind of shit that they've been told, is that they're fat pieces of shit. And they're not. That's the whole thing. So you can simultaneously have a weight problem and still be a wonderful, lovely person. The two can coexist.
Yeah.
You can be in pursuit of your health and still be amazing. You can also be a skinny person and be an absolute dipshit asshole. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, I'm obsessed with this book. I don't know why. Wait till we get to the actual diet portion, what they tell you to eat. It's crazy.
Every week we're
going to read a new passage of it. But so you wonder, like, it's actually a good thing that the dialogue has changed around it, and people need to calm down about saying, like, the backlash from the anti-fat. I can't even tell which direction the pendulum is swinging anymore. But it's okay to be honest that I don't feel good at the weight I'm at. I want to feel better. But it has nothing to do with if you're valuable, your intrinsic value, your worthiness, your deservingness of being seen. Everybody does. So I just want to point that out. And reading that book and seeing the language, I'm glad we've come further with the language, but you and I are still here to help heavy people. And by the way, there are way more fat people now than there were when that book was written.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I think I told you I was in the Atlanta airport about a month ago, and Frank even brought this up. My new best friend, Frank, last night, he was like, he finally started traveling after COVID also. And he was like, my God, my God. And Frank is not in the fitness business. He's a mid 60-year-old guy who, God only knows what Frank did for a living. He was like, I can't believe what people look like in the airport. And he was also disgusted with the fact that everyone is walking, staring at a phone, not even looking around. Remember, I said I can walk through that Atlanta airport naked with my cock on fire and nobody would notice. Nobody would notice. And I believe that with all of my heart. I really do. Everyone's just staring at a phone and everyone's just, we're getting fatter and fatter.
Well, now the pandemic thing didn't help. Did
I read a thing this morning about kids during the pandemic now have type 2 diabetes. Young kids, type 2 diabetes. I mean, We're there, folks. We're
A
there.
couple weeks ago, a Harris poll survey found that 61% of U.S. adults' weight fluctuated in the past year, obviously pandemic,
Okay.
with an average weight gain of 29 pounds in the past year of those who admitted to putting on weight.
Yeah.
An average weight gain of 29 pounds.
Let's just call that a 30
It
pound.
used to be, that would be like 3 dress sizes. I don't know.
And I'm shocked that it's that little. From what I saw in the airport, people are decidedly bigger. And it's not good. It's
what's going on? Because I think that people want to say, well, we were cooped up for a year, we didn't move around, but you say exercise is a poor way to lose weight. So it's got to be the comfort food thing, right?
It was all of it.
The processed foods.
No. It all played in. Number one, people quit going to the gym. So a lot of people use the gym as hey, I go to the gym, I'm sacrificing, I'm not going to sit here and eat chips and dips at night. Usually when you go to the gym, you release all sorts of hormones, you feel better about yourself. But when you're sitting home, it's really not their fault. You're sitting home, you're not told to go anywhere or do anything, leave your house, and you get depressed. You get some form of depression. And I can see for the average person, you get more and more depressed. We noticed that drinking went up. There's more, the room, 12-step rooms are full. We know that people drink. I have people admitting to me, I stopped drinking. I developed a drinking habit during COVID. And, parents with kids at home, they can't go to school. They can't get their yayas out. And so you buy more chips and dips and whatever kids eat.
No, they wouldn't let kids go to like the playground. Like they couldn't play on the monkey bars and swing and stuff.
Now we have kids. So it's not, the exercise is a poor way to lose weight, but if exercise is the fountain of youth. And if you're not exercising, if you're not getting those hormones stirred up, I've often said that when we started taking PE out of schools, we made kids dumber. And I've had doctors on this show confirm that fact on the Friday show. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. You need to move. We're not meant to sit around. You put a car in your garage. You could go out and buy a brand new car today with the new car smell. Put that car in your garage and let it sit for 2 years and then walk in that garage and start it. It won't start. That car is meant to be started and used and moved. Yeah. And even after you charge the battery, if that car sat there for too many years, the seals will go bad, the engine
corrode
up or whatever. It won't work. You have to move. If you have a car, it's got to move. You got to move things. Things have to move. This is not a static world. It's dynamic. You must move.
Look, they show there are studies on houses. When people move out of houses, the house itself completely dilapidates.
It falls apart.
Yeah.
It's all dynamic. Nothing is static in this world. We got to keep moving forward. And I'm telling you, it's not too late. If you fucked up during the pandemic, I get it. Come back. Please just come back. Just start moving. Just start moving.
I agree. Even things like having your groceries delivered and stuff like we didn't run errands. You weren't moving your body through space in the same way.
I'm guilty of Villa Cappelli showing up at the house. I'm guilty of Belcampo showing up at the house. And I'm also guilty of buying, a deodorant and what have you through Amazon.
Right.
Because I don't want to go to the drugstore. Sick people in there. I'd rather just get that stuff and get my toothpaste, what have you, soap. It all shows up from Amazon. It's cheaper, it's easier, and I'm not burning gas. I'm not burning fossil fuel. I leave the house every day and go do things. I leave to go hiking. I leave to go kayaking. I leave to go shooting. Every morning before work, you're shooting. That sounds odd. I do skeet as a competition for anyone that's new to the show. I'm a competitive shotgun shooter. 5 mornings a week, I get up and I go straight to the club. 2 hours. I'm out there. I don't care how hot it is, how cold it is. If it's raining, it doesn't matter. We go. Sometimes when it's raining, we don't go because the clays just don't fly right and you're getting all of your equipment wet. So we'll just stay home on those days. But we go out and we move. And you go, whoa, Mr. Rich Guy, what, you got time to do that? No, my schedule is such that I work until midnight. I take my mornings and use them for me. I'm lucky that way. You might have to use your evening or your lunchtime or mid-afternoon. Whatever you have, make it work for you.
Yep.
That's all I'm saying.
And by the way, now that we're getting back to work and having to do stuff, stop scheduling everybody else's agenda ahead of your own body. Stop doing it.
I like that. You
Well,
know what
because
else
we
I like?
do that, especially moms, we do that. We make sure everybody has their needs met, and we even make sure that work is all squared away and everybody, all the emails are answered. Fuck that. Go do what you need to do. I mean, don't let your kids, I mean, throw some crackers on the floor for them. They'll be fine. They're kids. They're resilient. Am I right? Like what?
Am I right, Mom?
Just go out and go for a jog. Who cares?
We got a problem on our hands.
What's that?
Stephen Crutchfield sent me a check, so we got to talk
Mhm.
about their product.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm happy to.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm not going to want to talk about it?
We got a shill, Anna. We got a shill. As long as they keep paying us, we got to keep
Oh
telling.
my God. These products need to get in here.
Oh, come on, Stephen. What are you doing?
Steven, actually, I bet you anything by the time this, because we're recording this 2 weeks in advance, which we never do. There will be products in. So make sure you go to villacapelli.com, go to oil, and where it says temporarily sold out of the 3-liter tin, click that and enter your email address. I did it. I'm going to be one of the first ones to enter, to order. And then you're going to want to make sure when you go back to order, get the, all the spices, the salts, the garlic powder is unfreaking believable. Actually, if you can get the Italian herb powder collection, you should definitely get that. And then enter the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE, not with a wimpy Y. And you're going to get 10% off your order. And if you order, I don't know, let's say it's back in stock and you order 100 tins and you enter the discount code Vinnie, that's like getting 10 tins for free.
Yeah.
That's like getting 30 liters of oil.
Free. Free. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Well, a promo code Vinnie, VINNIE. Go check it out right now.
Which, by the way, still Villa Cappelli is priced cheaper than the local, the nice olive oil that they make down the street here. Because I live in wine country / olive. I live in a Mediterranean climate here, and they make all this stuff here. And Villa Cappelli is still less expensive than what they're selling here.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's price. I don't see how he makes any money.
So Anna, we're going to cut off the video now and just go. We're going to go solo here with the iTunes.